Welcome back to Investing Talk Podcast. So today, we're diving into select water solutions.
Select water solutions.
Yeah.
Okay.
Based on, all the stuff you sent our way, some articles, some analysis. I mean, we want to help you, really figure this company out.
Yeah.
Kind of cut through the noise, right?
Right.
And get to the core insights. We've got info on their financials for 2024, what the analysts are saying, their push for all this sustainability stuff, some big operational things they've done, the stock price lately, a little technical analysis.
Uh-huh.
We'll also, kind of touch on their whole business and some trends that seem to be popping up. Consider this your personalized, rundown on select water solutions.
Okay. Sounds good.
Where do you think we should start?
Well, I think it makes sense to start with a snapshot of their financials.
Okay.
In 2024, Select Water Solutions reported revenues of $1.45 billion.
Wow.
While that's a big number, it's actually an 8.41% decrease compared to the year before.
Oh, wow.
Their net income also took a hit. A pretty big drop, actually. 58.81%, ending up at $30.64 million. However, and this is interesting, in the second quarter of 2024, they generated a healthy operating cash flow.
Really?
$83.1 million, and free cash flow of $37.4 million.
Okay.
So it's kind of a mixed bag financially for them, at least for the first half of the year.
Yeah, a decrease in revenue and such a big drop in net income.
Yeah.
That's got to raise some questions, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, are we seeing something happening across the whole industry, or is it something specific to Select Water Solutions?
Yeah, that's a great question. It could be a few things, honestly. Maybe there were changes in demand for the services they offer,
Okay.
or their operating costs went up.
Uh-huh.
They might even be making some strategic investments that are impacting their profits now but could pay off later.
I see.
It'd be worth digging into their earnings reports to get their take on it.
Makes sense. It's not just about the numbers themselves. It's like you said, the why behind those numbers.
Yeah.
So we've got these financial headwinds.
Yeah.
But it seems like analysts are still pretty bullish on Select Water Solutions.
Yeah.
They've given it a strong buy rating
Wow.
with a 12-month price target of 16.25.
16.25.
Yeah, that's a significant jump from where it's at now, around 10.19.
That is.
Yeah.
That's almost a 60% potential upside. That gap between how they're doing financially now and what analysts expect, that's something to pay attention to. What do they see, What's making them so optimistic?
Right.
It's a good question.
Seems like maybe a big part of their optimism is coming from the company's focus on sustainability.
Sure.
Select Water Solutions has been, really pushing their efforts in this area. Like their 2023 report, they had a 9% reduction in their Scope 1 and Scope 2 emissions intensity.
That's significant. For those who might not know, Scope 1 emissions, those are the direct emissions from the company's own operations. Scope 2, that's emissions from the energy they're buying.
Yeah.
9% reduction. That's not nothing. They also mentioned that they treated or recycled a huge amount of water, 18.4 billion gallons.
Wow.
And their Permian water recycling facility just passed a big milestone. 50 million barrels of water treated and reused. I think for investors who care about the environment, these kinds of achievements in water management and cutting emissions, they could be a big deal.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And that Permian facility reaching that milestone, it shows they can really operate effectively, in an area that's crucial for the energy sector.
Right.
Being able to manage water resources efficiently, that's not just good for the planet.
No.
It can also mean saving money and being more efficient overall.
Absolutely. It really shows they're on top of things, especially in the areas where they work. I think this kind of operational win, combined with what they're doing on emissions, that might be why analysts are so positive.
Yeah.
They're probably thinking these factors are going to lead to growth and profits down the line, even with the recent dips.
So maybe their financials paint one picture, but these sustainability and operational things are hinting at a different future.
It's possible.
All right, well, let's talk about the stock itself. It's currently sitting around 10.1 band, up just a bit, 0.89% over the last day. But if you zoom out, over the past year, it's been all over the place, between 8.60 and 15.14.
That's a pretty big range.
Yeah.
And its beta, 1.77, that tells us it's more volatile than the overall market.
Right. Explain that beta thing for our listeners.
Sure. Beta basically measures how much a stock's price tends to swing compared to the market as a whole. So a higher beta means you can expect bigger and more frequent price changes.
Gotcha.
Now, looking at the technical analysis, it's kind of up in the air. We might see the price keep going up, but it's also possible it'll settle into a certain range for a while.
Okay.
It's going to bounce around within those limits.
The trading volume has been pretty high, too, about 15.5 million shares.
Right, and a high volume often means there's more interest in the stock. Could be a sign that a lot more people are buying and selling, which sometimes happens right before a big price move. Or it can confirm that a trend that's already happening is pretty strong.
The analysis you shared also mentioned keeping an eye on the 50-day and 200-day moving averages. Why are those important?
Okay, so moving averages can help smooth out the daily ups and downs of the price.
Okay.
Gives you a better sense of the trend. The 50-day average, that's the short-term trend, while the 200-day is more long-term. A lot of investors look at when these averages cross each other. Like if the 50-day crosses above the 200-day, that can be a bullish signal. The hold recommendation they gave, that suggests being cautious.
Right.
Watching for good entry points. Like
Yeah.
if the price drops to a support level and those technical indicators line up in a good way.
So a wait-and-see approach until we get more signals from the technical side of things.
Exactly.
Let's talk about Select Water Solutions as a company for a minute. They operate in three main areas, right?
Yeah.
Water services, water infrastructure, and chemical technologies.
That's right.
They're all about those sustainable solutions for the energy industry here in the U.S.
Yeah, and that focus on sustainable water management, it puts them in a sweet spot as the energy sector faces more and more pressure to be environmentally responsible. Companies like Select Water Solutions, they could see a lot of growth.
And they're listed on the NYSE, right?
Yep. Yeah.
With a market cap of about $1.22 billion.
That's right.
There's also a couple other things for investors to think about. They offer a dividend yield of around 2.75%.
Right.
Could be appealing for those looking for some income.
For sure. And you've got that potential for long-term growth because of the increasing need for sustainable practices.
Yeah.
It's an interesting case, especially if oil prices stabilize or go up. But, always got to remember that higher volatility we talked about. Be prepared for some price swings.
All right, so to wrap things up, it seems like Select Water Solutions presents a pretty complex picture, right? You've got recent financial declines, but then strong analyst ratings, and they're making big moves on sustainability. Stock price has been volatile, but with some recent gains. And technically, it looks like a hold for now. The interesting thing is the contrast between their recent performance and the optimism from analysts. That seems to be driven by their focus on sustainability and how well they're operating. So it really comes down to how you, as an investor, weigh all these different factors when considering whether to invest.
Yeah.
It's definitely worth digging deeper into what's behind those positive analyst projections, even with the recent financial results. We hope this discussion has given you a better understanding of the key things going on with Select Water Solutions based on what you sent us. And hey, you found this helpful? Hit that subscribe button, give us a like, and leave a comment. Let us know what you'd like us to cover in future episodes.
Sounds good.
Thanks for listening.
See ya.